Coming up, outrage as the Bali bomb maker is granted early release from jail. An elderly woman hit and killed by a bus on the Central Coast. A security warning for Apple devices, and the Panthers claim the minor premiership. That's next. Tonight, outrage at news the 2002 Bali bomb maker will be released from jail within weeks.
A woman dies after being hit by a bus at a Central Coast shopping centre.
A man extradited to New South Wales over the death of a teenage boy more than 20 years ago.
The federal government's plan to steer us towards driving electric cars.
And the thrilling win that saw the Panthers claim the minor premiership.
This is NBN News.
Good evening. News of impending freedom for an Indonesian terrorist has caused pain and anger for Bali bombing survivors and relatives of the victims.
Umar Patek is expected to walk from prison perhaps in the next few days after his sentence was dramatically reduced.
202 people died in the 2002 attack, 88 of them Australian.
Unlike his smiling accomplice, Ali Amrozi, Umar Patek was stony-faced when he was sentenced a decade ago for helping build the bomb that killed 88 Australians. Early Walsh, NBN News.
A close-knit Central Coast community has been left devastated after a woman was struck by a bus at the local shopping centre. The 46-year-old was unable to be revived by paramedics and died at the scene.
Tragedy outside Bateau Bay Square. A 46-year-old woman dead after being hit by a bus while crossing the road.
A man has faced court in Sydney accused of murdering teenager Arthur Haynes by allegedly throwing a Molotov cocktail at the house he was sleeping in. Today, the 13-year-old mother's thanked homicide detectives for never giving up more than 2 decades after her son's death.
Hiding under his hoodie, Gregory John Walker says he has nothing to hide.
New South Wales MP Gareth Ward was today committed to stand trial on charges of historical sexual and indecent assault. The member for Kiama on the South Coast, who's been suspended from Parliament, appeared in court via video link. Police allege he indecently assaulted a teenage boy in 2013 and sexually abused a 27-year-old man in 2015. Ward will remain on bail before his next court appearance in September. Police are appealing for witnesses, dashcam and CCTV footage after a man was assaulted with a machete in Grafton on Tuesday, near the intersection of Duke and Pound Streets.
We believe that this was a targeted attack. The pair knew each other. A male was confronted by another male, described as Aboriginal. He's confronted him with a machete and in quite a confronting attack has swung the machete and severed a number of fingers.
The man was airlifted to John Hunter Hospital in a serious but stable condition. Investigations are ongoing. After a tumultuous few months, the new Kempsey Shire Council was officially sworn in today. 8 councillors have been elected to represent the community, tasked with fixing past errors and rebuilding trust.
Putting a technical mishap and forced by-election behind them. The new-look Kempsey Shire Council was finally sworn in at a special ceremony today. Rob Douglas, NBN News.
The Manning Great Lakes Police District is cracking down on stock theft, rural arson and trespassing by adding a new rural crime investigator role to the ranks. The move will see a new unit of 2 specialist investigators introduced at the Taree and Foster police stations. Meanwhile, 2 probationary constables are on their way to the Mid-North Coast District following a graduation ceremony in Goulburn today. Firefighters have had an overwhelming response to information stalls set up in Coffs Harbour's Park Beach Plaza. They're on site offering home fire safety visits and basic information, including the importance of working smoke alarms and always looking while cooking.
We've got approximately 150 home fire safety visits to do so far. Expecting around 400 home fire safety visits to be lodged with us in the next couple of days.
Crews will be back on site tomorrow and Sunday from 10 a.m. Boaties and whale watchers are being asked to keep an eye out for a whale tangled in netting and buoys. The call comes after a reported sighting at Little Diggers Beach near Coffs Harbour this morning. The adult humpbacks were seen moving slowly south, around 600 to 800 metres offshore. Orca and National Parks and Wildlife crews are canvassing the coastline. The The sun has set on another year of AgQuip, with the popular field days attended by more than 100,000 people over the three-day run. Wednesday proved the event's most popular, while total sales clocked well over the $100 million mark. AgQuip organisers will soon start planning for next year's 50th anniversary event. Female athletes in Tormina now have access to designated change rooms as part of new infrastructure additions officially opened at the football grounds today.
Very clean, very crisp and very functional. So it's a great development for the people of Sawtell and Tormina.
Each week for training and for games, players are using the facilities all the time. So it's a really amazing facility for our club.
A renovated canteen block and new toilets were also constructed thanks to funding from the state government and Coffs Harbour City Council. People living with a disability in the Manning Valley are now being celebrated through art. The Imagine project, which culminates the work of local creatives, will wrap with a concert and exhibition in Taree.
Empowering people with a disability through art.
Let's take a look at the top temperatures for our Friday across the region. It was a warm one. Coffs Harbour got up to 23 degrees. Look at Grafton, 26 was the top. Coming up next in NBN News, we're live to Foster for the latest on the search for a missing person.
A man charged over the running battle that followed a Mariners match in Sydney.
And officers firing out their window, a police vehicle rammed. A car chase that has to be seen to be believed. Police are appealing for help to find a man from the Central West last seen at a caravan park in Foster. Reporter Rob Douglas joins us live now. Rob, what do we know?
Tash, 41-year-old Wayne Logan was last seen here at Larney's Holiday Island on Tuesday. His family raising the alarm when he failed to return home to Parks. Police say there are growing concerns for his welfare as his disappearance is out of character and he lives with a medical condition. He's described as having a solid build, is about 170 centimetres tall and is believed to have been driving a white Proton Jumbuck ute with the rego number BEQ78K. As always, anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Tash.
Thank you, Rob.
Prominent New South Wales Labor politician Walt Secord says he won't seek another term in the upper house at next year's state election. Mr Secord was Shadow Police Minister until he stepped aside earlier this week following bullying allegations.
It's a move the federal government claims would slash the price of electric vehicles along with emissions. Today, the Energy Minister unveiled a proposal to rev up Australia's EV market and catch up to the rest of the world.
It's pedal to the metal for a new electric vehicles plan.
Another weekend has arrived. Let's check in with the weather. The latest front has been passing over New South Wales today. There was some high-level cloud and a little line of showers affecting the Central Coast and Hunter this afternoon. All of this is going to clear, making for a great start to the weekend. It is going to be just a little bit cooler, though, with widespread morning fog patches inland, burning off into a mostly sunny, comfortable winter's day. I've got more weekend weather details headed your way a little later.
After the break, the cutting-edge cardiac technology being rolled out in New South Wales ambulances.
A security scare sparks an urgent warning to Apple users.
And PM gone wild. Finland's leader on the back foot over a party video. Each year, more than 8,000 people in New South Wales have a heart attack. Just 12% of them survive. But those odds are about to improve thanks to cutting-edge cardiac technology, soon to be fitted inside every ambulance.
It's called the Lucas, and we're promised it will save lives.
There will be people who previously would not have survived.
To finance now, when the Australian share market hit a fresh 10-week high today, but a worrying report from Ingham's could mean higher prices for chicken. Here's business reporter Chris Kohler.
Cochlear, AGL and Newcrest were some of the big companies announcing their profits today, and the reactions were mixed, with the ASX finishing flat after touching a 10-week high this morning. The focus was on chicken company Ingham's, which said it'll push through what it calls significant price hikes this year to cope with inflation. And that will hurt because in its report it showed this: the average Australian now eats about 50 kilograms of chicken per year, head and shoulders above the old favourites like beef, lamb and pork. A lot of that has been because chicken is cheap, but that could soon start to change. Elsewhere, the Australian dollar was mostly higher, buying 69 US cents, 68.6 euro cents and 58 British pence.
Nothing was going to come between a 2-year-old boy in Brazil and the soft toy he couldn't resist. Young Samuel managed to climb into the arcade machine, his mother shocked to see him playing placidly with the toy animals and fairy tale figures. Staff got him free but remained puzzled as to how the happy little Houdini got there in the first place.
He looks super relaxed.
He's stoked.
Best time.
All right, sport now.
Adam Murray is with us, and the Knights coach has had his say on Kalen Ponga.
Yes, and he believes he should remain the captain. But Adam O'Brien has called on his players to grow up and stay out of the headlines. Also ahead, the Panthers crowned minor premiers. And a new gig for a Hunter sailor as the Sail GP series hits Denmark. It's been another week of self-inflicted pain for the Knights, and the coach has had enough. Adam O'Brien today said some of his players need to grow up really quickly, while admitting he needs to drive tougher standards. Knights fans aren't happy about the club being in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. The Panthers are minor premiers once again, thanks to miracle man Liam Martin. The back rower overcoming serious injury to seal an epic comeback win against the Rabbitohs, whose top 4 hopes were crushed.
It's the play that sealed the minor premiership for Penrith.
The Storm can take a big step towards locking down a top 4 berth with a win over the Broncos in Brisbane tonight. Here's James Bracey and Andrew Johns.
Macca's Friday night footy. It is a beauty from Suncorp Stadium. Andrew Johns is with me.
Hey, Brace.
Hello, Joey. This one, where do we look first? The Melbourne Storm, finding form right time of year, knocking off the reigning premiers last week, and they get Jerome Hughes back tonight.
Yeah, getting back to full strength. And, yeah, last week they went 14-0. It's a must-win for Brisbane, but I think the Storm will win.
All right, looking forward to this one. Thank you, Andrew. It's Macca's Friday night footy. It will be a special. The Storm visiting the Broncos, and it's live on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Australia's Nathan Outteridge will make his debut for Switzerland when the Sail GP series resumes in Denmark tonight. The Lake Macquarie sailor jumping ship mid-season after Team Japan was forced to pull out.
Probably a bit of surprise to me that initially they just wanted my coaching help in Plymouth, which led to, are you interested in doing some driving this season?
Kyle Langford's Team Australia will be the boat to beat, leading the championship after 3 rounds. After the break, the big swell finally arrives for the Tahiti Pro, and former pop star Cody Simpson with the Paris Olympics in his sights. Cody Simpson admits he still hasn't come to grips with his meteoric rise in the world of swimming, but insists he has plenty more to give, approaching the 2024 Olympics.
I didn't necessarily expect to be remotely competitive until this year anyway, so to have already sort of been able to have that first experience representing Australia was very special.
To Group 2 Rugby League, and the competition is rapidly coming to an end with both the minor and major semis on this weekend. There'll be no room for error when the Rebels front the Ghosts tomorrow, while on Sunday, Arara and Woolgoolga will face off for a 3rd time.
The last local derby of the year is expected to be a bruising encounter.
The world's best squash players are on court in Coffs Harbour tonight as part of the North Coast Open. 258 matches will be played over the 5-day tournament.
Hong Kong's Henry Leung and Simi Chan are the top-ranked players in this week's North Coast Open. Britt Ramsey, NBN News.
258 games of squash, eh? A lot.
Tiring.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't survive one. What about the weather details? We'll find out what's happening next.
This report brought to you by McDonald Jones, building the Australian dream for over 35 years.
Well, another passing front sweeping across central New South Wales throughout today. A little bit cooler over the weekend, but it's not looking too bad. Details in a moment. This evening's weather photo from Sonia Borton at Stewart's Point. Lovely shot. Always get a cracker of a photograph here at sunrise. Now, the past 24 hours, the southeast again copping its snow. Lots of it, 25 centimetres overnight across the resorts. A very healthy end to August for skiers and snowboarders, I would say. Central Northern Australia, quite stunning at the moment. That passing front being felt over the mid-north coast as expected throughout today. Produced a couple of lines of showers and, as expected, a little bit of thunder in there. Another front passing over the southeast, making sure that winter makes itself known. It's not going anywhere throughout much of Victoria and southern New South Wales and Tasmania. But for us, fairly fine, just noticeably cooler. Most of the nation is in for a stunning weekend, looking very nice, comfortable in the west. Beautiful for the Alice, quite comfortable. Still cold right throughout the southeast with that front coming through. Sydney, the wet weather passing and looking pretty good tomorrow. Quite comfortable. And Brisbane looking at tops of 24 degrees. Pretty much doesn't matter where you are, should all be fine. Got some echoes this afternoon, mostly coming down on the western side of the divide. It was quite comfortable as expected, up and over 20 degrees, but the cloud moved in, capped off temperatures for us. But north of the Coffs Coast, extraordinary temperatures, 25s and 27s recorded today. Warmest day of the winter so far. Still quite dry, the humidity down, building a little bit. The winds are generally switching around to the east there for most of the coast this afternoon. A little bit all over the shop. As we take a look at tomorrow's chance of rain, nothing. It is going to be fine. It's a good looking start to the weekend. Just cooler winds. We're going to see a cooler southwesterly move in behind that front overnight tomorrow. It will be a little bit fresh, trying to move around to the south for the Macquarie Coffs Coast throughout the afternoon. So it's a winter stunner, beautiful, clear, crisp conditions. Lots of sunshine from sunrise pretty much to sunset. Just going to be a little bit cooler in the morning, but with so much sunshine, we should be able to escape the teens momentarily tomorrow afternoon. A strong wind warning in place with that passing front, so seas a little bit choppy, but it will settle. And the swell running at about 1.5 metres for us tomorrow. As we take a look at the tides, the low 8:17 will be hitting the high tomorrow afternoon 3:24. So coming up right throughout the lunchtime hour. Sun to rise 6:19 and 5:26 back down. It's a good looking weekend. Then another strong cold front coming through, warming up, and then that next front is going to be quite chilly there, dropping temperatures during the middle of next week. But looks like widespread rain developing there Tuesday with that front coming through. But overall, it's a great looking weekend, quite comfortable, classic wintry weather on the way. So lovely conditions here throughout Taree and the Manning over the next couple of days, also affected by that next system from Tuesday onwards. Surfers, a little bit of swell, some fun waves, and tomorrow we'll have the offshores with us yet again with the southwesterly winds. So still seeing the effects of those winter winds, probably shifting around a little bit in the afternoon. So the seagulls will be facing southwest in the morning, and then they'll turn their heads and face it towards the south-southeast. They love to be head to wind. Some nice waves and sets rolling through, so get into it this weekend. So a good weekend, but winter isn't done with us just yet.
Oh, sting in the tail?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we've been warned. Thank you, Gav. That is NBN News for this evening. A current affair is up next from all the team. Have a great weekend. Good night.